Inec says it is working with Nigerian Correctional Service on voting rights of inmates. PDP threatens party members expressing support for President Bola Tinubu with stiffer sanctions. Protesters storm Force headquarters in Abuja and Lagos State Police Command demanded release of Omoyele Sowore. On the foreign scene, United Nations warns Israeli government's plan for full-scale military takeover of Gaza will cause more deaths. The Independent National Electoral Commission (Inec) says it is working with the Nigerian Correctional Service on the voting rights of inmates. Inec Chairman Mahmood Yakubu disclosed this on Friday while receiving the Comptroller General of NCOS Sylvester Nwakuche at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Yakubu affirmed the judgment of the appeal court granting inmates the right to register and vote in any elections. He referenced a series of meetings the Commission had with the service to work out modalities for accommodating affected inmates, which include access to facilities and political parties' concerns, as well as clarification for the categories of inmates the judgment favor. The Inec chairman re-echoed the need to seek the intervention of the National Assembly on the matter.
Inmates of this great nation, I represent them as the Comptroller General of Corrections. Over 81,000 of them, of which over 66% are awaiting trial persons who are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Even while as convicts or awaiting trial persons, they do have rights. And part of those rights are rights I'm here this morning to discuss with the Inec chairman to see how we can, if possible, extend some of these rights to these inmates. And this right is about voting rights.
For our part, we raised the issue of access to the correctional facilities for voter registration, creation of polling units, and voter education. On behalf of stakeholders and for transparency, we also brought to your attention concerns about access to our facilities for observers and the media. Political parties also want to know if they will be allowed to campaign in the correctional facilities and appoint polling agents on election day. We believe that working together with you and the stakeholders, we can address these concerns. As we are aware, election is a process governed by law. Again, working together, we can seize the opportunity of the ongoing electoral reform for a clear legal provision that will specifically cover citizens serving time in our correctional facilities.
In another development, the Nigerian Correctional Service has said about 53,460 inmates are awaiting trial nationwide. The Comptroller General of the NCOS, Sylvester Nwakuche, stated this on Friday in Abuja while meeting with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu. Leading top officials of the paramilitary agency to the Inec headquarters, Nwakuche made a case for inmates asking the electoral body to extend some rights to them, particularly the right to vote. According to the NCOS boss, there are 81,000 prison inmates nationwide. In 2019, the Court of Appeal sitting in Benin, Edo State, affirmed the right of inmates across the country to vote. The court, however, refused to grant a request that Inec should liaise with the NCOS to create registration centers at various prisons across the country. Talking politics, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) on Friday warned members of the party expressing support for President Bola Tinubu to retrace their steps or face stiffer sanctions. It criticized errant members for their actions, describing them as anti-party and against the opposition party's constitution. The National Working Committee expressed dismay over the persistent public media outbursts against the PDP by some prominent members whose actions and utterances, including their declaration of support and willingness to work for the victory of the All Progressives Congress (APC) in the 2027 presidential election. These, it said, violated the provision of the PDP constitution, which it says constitutes a serious threat to the stability and sustenance of the party. The National Working Committee, however, urged its members to remain loyal and focused. This is coming after Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke and Tinubu's re-election bid. Chairman of the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum and the Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, hosted the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, in the Bauchi Government House on Friday. While welcoming the members of the obedient team in an interactive session with journalist, Governor Bala stated that ahead of the 2027 general election, opposition political parties must be united. Mohammed stated that the expectations of Nigerians in the 2027 general election are very high. He urged Peter Obi to consider defecting to the PDP. On his part, Peter Obi said he was in Bauchi to interact with youths in colleges of health and Ilmajirai. According to him, based on the interactions he has with the future leaders, he is satisfied with their potential.
We said it now. I've already said we want him to be in PDP. There are plans, there are desires, strategies, but certainly he has answered you. All the opposition parties must come together. And so definitely the question has been answered before you ask. We want to make sure that there is a coming together in alliances by parties that are in the opposition, so that we can present a common front. And of course, you know, he's one of the outstanding leaders of the opposition parties, and definitely having him here is a very big delight. Thank you.
Away from politics, protesters stormed the force headquarters in Abuja and the Lagos State Police Command headquarters on Friday, demanding the release of human rights activist Omoyele Sowore. Most of the protesters, dressed in black attire, brandished the national flag and chanted anti-government songs, asking the police authorities to free Sowore. The protesters alleged intimidation by an unnamed Assistant Commissioner of Police, refuting claims that they barricade the roads. At the Lagos Command headquarters in the Ikeja area of Lagos, the protests began around 10 a.m. while the protesters vowed to return until Sowore is released. In the company of his supporters, he arrived at the headquarters in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, on Wednesday afternoon to honor the police invitation. The NPF, through the Inspector General of Police Monitoring Unit, is investigating Sowore over alleged forgery and inciting disturbance. The force also came under criticism after allegedly breaking the hand of Sowore during an attempt to forcefully transfer him from custody to court on Thursday. In other news, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has inaugurated a committee to identify areas in the nation's capital in violation of the certificate of occupancy issued to them. Speaking during the inauguration ceremony at the FCT headquarters in Abuja, Wike lamented that there was no distinction between commercial and residential areas in the FCT. This, he said, contravened the master plan of the city. The minister also inaugurated a committee to oversee some issues that had sprung up between the FCTA and a private estate, River Park, located along the airport road in Abuja. The minister gave 2 weeks for both committees to conclude the investigation and come up with recommendations for the government to take necessary implementation and action. He also urged them to carry out their duties professionally, while warning that there would be consequences for those engaging in acts otherwise. To education, the Nigerian House of Assembly has called on Governor Umar Bago to issue an executive order banning the celebration of Marcus Day and sign-out activities in all public, private, secondary, and tertiary institutions across the state. The resolution followed a motion by the member representing Tafar constituency, Mohammed Idris, who decried the negative consequences associated with such celebrations. Idris noted that what was initially meant to be a harmless farewell gesture by graduating students has degenerated into unruly behavior, rising incidents of misconduct and immoral activities. He warned that the trend threatens the moral and intellectual development that the state's educational system seeks to promote. The motion received unanimous support from other lawmakers who described it as a timely intervention in response to growing public concern. In the meantime, the federal government said on Friday that the second tranche of the outstanding 35,000 naira wage award arrears to federal civil servants has been paid. The Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, in a statement in Abuja, said the government had earlier paid 1 month out of the initial 5 months of standing arrears. In the statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Bawa Mokwa, it added that the payment of the second tranche, there remain 3 tranches to be executed to settle the wage award arrears. The Office of the Accountant General of the Federation stated that, contrary to insinuations in the quarters, the federal government had not reneged on payment of the wage award arrears, stressing that the federal government will continue to pay the wage award in installments of 35,000 naira per month until the outstanding arrears are settled. Organized labor in Taraba State has declared a statewide strike action from Monday, August 11th, under the aegis of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC). The union said their decision followed a resolution reached at a meeting of the Joint State Administrative Council on August 6. This was contained in a press statement jointly signed by NLC Chairman Peter Jadel and TUC Chairman Sule Abasu. According to the statement, the strike is in response to alleged irregularities by the state's Biometric Data Capture Committee, which labor leaders claim have adversely affected workers. They accused the committee of engaging in illegal practices and faulted the state government for failing to respond to an earlier ultimatum. Osun State's Governor Demola Adeleke says his administration will address all lapses identified within the Osun-Osogbo Groove ahead of the 2026 festival. The governor said this while delivering his speech at the grand finale of the festival on Friday. Adeleke, represented by his deputy Kola Adewusi, said renovation would be carried out within the groove to make it look more attractive. Joseph Atewe was at the festival and now reports.
Thousands of worshippers, tourists and dignitaries gathered for the grand finale of the Osun-Osogbo Festival, a globally recognized celebration of Yoruba spirituality held at the Osun Sacred Grove in honor of the river goddess Osun. Traditional drumming, colorful attire and vibrant processions have transformed the ancient city into a hub of festive energy as both locals and international visitors pay homage to centuries of Yoruba heritage. Security was visibly heightened around the Sacred Grove compared to the previous year, with police, civil defense, and military personnel ensuring the safety of participants amid swelling crowds. At the heart of today's ceremony was the sacred procession of the Arugba, a virgin girl who carries ritual offerings to the Osun River, a symbolic act of spiritual renewal, unity, and devotion, but today was assisted by the Agba, Arugba, who is a man. While speaking, the Osun State Commissioner for Tourism, Honorable Ojo Abiodun, described the festival as a powerful reflection of the state's cultural identity and a spiritual appeal for continued peace and prosperity.
Major significance in the sense that Osun-Osogbo tells you about what Osun-Osogbo is all about. It is the source of Osogbo, like you all know, it's the source of Osun State. The signal is that it is used to appease the goddess for our kindness, our goodness, for making Osun peaceful, for making Osun grow, for making Osun a wonderland. privilege. You can see that roof, you can see what's done. You can see the pavilion is still maintained. The road, as bad as it was still maintained. It was improved upon. The government is very much involved, and we are still going to be.
A renowned arts promoter and founder of the Inec Art Gallery, Chief Inec Okundaye, was among the prominent figures at the event. She applauded the growing recognition the festival brings to Yoruba culture and called for greater promotion of what she described as Osun's most treasured heritage.
Today is a great day in my life to be able to celebrate with my Kabiyesi, this King of Osogbo, and the whole people of Osogbo as we are promoting our culture and our heritage. This is our root, and we are happy to be here. Well, I want everybody in Osogbo to know that our culture is our heritage. We need to celebrate it more because this is the only thing we have, and we cannot let it go. This is the first UNESCO heritage in the whole Nigeria, and now it's still the biggest festival.
Also in attendance was celebrated poet and cultural icon Ifayemi Elebuibon, who expressed deep pride in the sustained relevance of the festival. He also called for more developments to further beautify the grove.
It is my joy to be among the people to celebrate Osun Festival this year. And I pray for all to be witness another new year and for us to rejoice and thanks to Olodumare.
On his part, Dr. Oluseyi Atonda, president of the Traditional Worshippers Association in Osun State, raised concerns about the poor state of access roads to the sacred grove and urged the Osun State government to invest in infrastructure to boost tourism. He says in 2025, Osun Osogbo Festival should be far better than what we witness today.
I think it is high time government seizes the bull by the horn by walking the talk. If we are right and if we are serious that we want to improve the tourism potential of the Osun Grove, then I think my only message to the state government and the federal government today is that the road that passes through the Osun Grove should be declared a state of emergency.
As we are coming to this place, we will see the state of the road leading to this place is very, very bad.
Yes, that is what I said, that the road should be declared a state of emergency if we are serious about Osun Grove being a monumental edifice, being a source of tourism for Nigeria. That road should be declared a state of emergency from today. There's no improvement. There's certainly no improvement in beautification of the grove. Government is not.
Tourists from around Nigeria and across the globe, like Mrs. Gina Combeg, John Bates, and Anthony Carter, described their experience as unforgettable but wants better development.
I would like to send my greetings to all Nigerian people in this River Gods Festival. It's really great experience for me. It's something that I didn't expect. I love the tradition, I love the clothing, I love the hair, and it's completely something new for me.
Chief of El Ogun to celebrate for the first time as an African American an African tradition that belongs to me that was taken away from my ancestors.
And what you've seen so far, what does it look like?
Well, to me, it looks very familiar to African American Baptist church culture, right? And I'm seeing hairstyles and traditional dances, and that's very familiar to me as an African American. Makes me feel very good to know where my roots come from, to come here and to see this type of celebration.
As the curtains fall on this year's edition of the Osun Osogbo Festival, the city bids farewell to thousands of visitors who came to honor tradition, community, and spirituality. The organizers have described the event as a success, noting its peaceful conduct, increased international presence, and significant economic impact. But many of the guests whose phones were stolen, to those who found it difficult accessing the grove, and to many who feels Osun Osogbo Festival can be much more better if adequate and reasonable preparations are made, are hoping for a better festival next year. Joseph Atewe, Western Spring Television News.
Thank you, Joseph. To security, the Nigerian Air Force under Operation Hadinkai on Friday foiled a terrorist attack on troops in Ran, Borno State, through coordinated intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance and interdetection missions, according to the Director of Public Relations and Information Air Commando Ehiman Ijodeme. In a statement on Friday, the operations was carried out in the early hours of August 8 following credible intelligence. He said the air component established contact with ground forces, identified cluster of fleeing insurgents, and engaged them with precious munitions, neutralizing several. Ejodame added that the swift response restored calm to the area, reaffirming the force's commitment to providing close air support, safeguarding troops, and rapidly neutralizing insurgent threats. The Katsina State Police Command on Friday said it foiled several bandit attacks which led to the rescue of over 50 kidnapped victims in the state. This is part of the achievements recorded by the command in July 2025 aimed at ensuring the safety and security of lives and properties in the state, where several strategies were employed. Within the period under review, 302 suspects were arrested for various crimes, including 14 for armed robbery, 22 murder or culpable homicide suspects, 25 suspected rapists, 20 suspected vandals, alongside 8 suspected fraudsters. Others include 26 suspected illicit drug peddlers and 194 persons who were arrested in connection with other offenses. Exhibits recovered include 199 Russell animals, comprising 161 cows and 68 sheep, 3 suspected stolen motor vehicles, and 2 suspected stolen motorcycles. The spokesman of the command, Abubakar Sadiq, in a press briefing held at the command headquarters, Katsina, attributed these achievements to the support of the Katsina state government and the people of the state. You're watching news at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come. Fuji Music ladder legend Wasiu Ayinde Marshal apologizes over incident involving him at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. We'll bring you more on this when we return.